And now we're joined by Inter Miami CF defender DeAndre Yedlin. Congratulations, DeAndre.
Thanks, Rafa.
If you have a question in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get started with Michelle Kaufman, then Jose Rodriguez.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, for the second time now. I just wanted to know, how is it different this time from the last time? If you remember that day of making the team as a youngster back before 2014, how is it different this time? And how will your role be different coming in this time? How do you view yourself? You are the only player with World Cup experience on this team, so I'm assuming that you're going to be called on to lead. So just kind of compare the two experiences.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think this time it's just harder to leave because of Seneca. It's pretty hard leaving her, and this will be the longest I will have been away from her. So that part of it was pretty difficult. But obviously, having made a second World Cup is an incredible honor. And like you said, being a leader on this team, it's incredibly important to the team. It's important for me, and for me, I'm just going to try to do everything that I can for the team, whether that's on the field, whether that's on the bench, or whether that's in the stands. I'll just try to lead in every way that I can. And, obviously I've told all the guys if they have questions or advice that they need, it can always come to me. And yeah, just try to be the best leader that I can.
Thank you.
We will go to Jose Rodriguez, then Jeff. Go ahead.
Thanks, Rafa. Congratulations, DeAndre. I want to ask you about that first game in the World Cup this year. Obviously, very important. If we take a look at the landscape of the group, we know that's a big matchup. What are your thoughts on that game, and what's the approach that you guys have to take in the next few days to just be ready for that moment?
Yeah, in this fitness camp that we just had with the MLS players, we've been doing a lot of work on, playing against a system that, we think that they could possibly play, and, trying different formations. So we've been preparing already. Obviously, we'll add the European-based guys into that sort of training. But it's a difficult game, and it's the World Cup. So every game's difficult. And sometimes, there's stuff that you don't think will happens, and you just have to adapt. That's part of being a professional. So, at the end of the day, we're doing the best we can to prepare, whether it be tactical, fitness, whatever it may be. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's the World Cup, and sometimes things happen that you have to adapt to. So, we need to prepare for that as well.
We'll go to Jeff, then to Josh Moser.
Hey, DeAndre, congratulations. Glad I'm not the only one who threw a cap on backwards for this either.
Yeah.
Just wanted to kind of touch back about the leadership and being the only returning member of a World Cup roster. I mean, you're pretty young to be the vet, right? I mean, just given where you are in your career, are there any lessons that you remember from guys like Wondolowski, Beckerman, Davis, whatever from the previous roster that give you a sense of what you need to be at or where your head needs to be at to get the best out of such a young team?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, I learned a lot from myself, after reflecting about the last World Cup. I think, one of the greatest things I learned was, the best thing you can do is to stay present. If you keep thinking ahead, whether that be the next game or whether that be the next round, whatever it may be, you're going to lose track and probably not perform to the top of your ability. If you can stay present and stay in the moment, that's the most important moment there is. So that's kind of the message that I've tried to preach to the guys. It's also, away from a performance basis, an experience that not many people get to experience. And it's an experience that, may happen only once in your lifetime. So that's a whole nother reason to try to stay present and just be aware of, everything that's going on.
We'll go to Josh and then Kevin Baxter.
Hey, DeAndre, congratulations, man. Huge honor. No surprise. We're here in Miami, so we watch you all season on Inter. Just a couple questions. What's different about the World Cup, just for someone that hasn't watched it? And then how do you feel about the roster and your chances as a team to get out of the group stage?
Yeah, I mean, I feel, the World Cup is obviously the biggest sporting event in the world. So there's that feeling, that hype around it. It's kind of hard to explain, but, for somebody who's watching the World Cup for the first time, I think you'll really experience that. There's obviously the pride in, the countries and representing your country. So that whole aspect gets thrown into it. And, the best players in the world. You're playing against the best players in the world. So, there's a whole bunch of different things that get thrown around that are thrown into it that make it just such a amazing event. And then, as far as group stage stuff goes, we're looking at it in two different steps. We're obviously taking, the group phase, and then the second obviously step would be, after that, and then we just take it from there. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to take it game by game. That's the approach that we took during all of qualifiers, besides probably the first little round of qualifiers where we got punished a little bit. But then from really then on, it was just game by game, and that worked for us. So that's what we're going to try to do here. We're not thinking ahead to anything else really, but Wales. And that's the main point right now.
Cool. Congrats. Just a quick follow-up. Are the nerves different when you step on, the World Cup pitch? I know you've been there before, you've played on the biggest stage, but as a player, what's different?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. Everybody is different for reactions to it. For me, I can't say how it could be this time because I honestly don't know. The last time for me, it was kind of, I don't really know. I was just I was so present and in the moment that I wasn't really even aware of what I was doing, as strange as that sounds. Everything was just kind of happening. I was in a flow state. So, that's what I felt, but it can be different for other players. Some players can have nerves. Some players can be completely relaxed. It all just comes down to the person.
We'll go to Kevin Baxter, then Nancy Armour.
Hey, DeAndre, congratulations. I want to
Thank
take
you.
you back a little bit. You were there obviously in Brazil, as everyone's talked about, but then you were also there in Trinidad, right? You were there in the loss. Did you think that, what did that feel like, first of all? Because you had been to a World Cup and everyone just assumed the US is going to go every 4 years. You found out that you weren't going to go. What was that disappointment like? And did you think you were going to get back? And does it make it sweeter that you did get back after that disappointment? Or maybe the first time in Brazil, you didn't even know what you were, what it was supposed to feel like?
Right. Yeah, no, it was obviously extremely disappointing. I think, to your point, I think, obviously the fans expected it, but even we expected it. And that's why we got in the situation that we got into. Sometimes you have to really respect every opponent. And on that day, I think, we didn't give them enough respect and ended up getting punished for it. But on the same token, I think, to every negative, there's a positive. And I think that kind of lit, the fuel to the fire, that kind of built this team and built this young group and kind of, rebranded the federation a little bit. And now I think, everybody in the country and the players as well are really happy about the group that we have and, think we have a great chance of being very successful.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
We will go to Nancy Armour, then Larry Henry.
Hey, DeAndre, congratulations and
Well,
thanks for
thank
doing
you.
this.
Yeah.
Having been a new player and having watched this group of young players the last couple of years, what have you seen from them that makes you think that this stage won't be too big for them? I mean, we've heard about the fact that guys have played in Champions League, they play in Europe, et cetera, but
Right.
what have you seen specifically from this group that makes you think they'll be able to adapt without a big learning curve?
Right. You see guys stepping up in huge moments, throughout, these last 4 years, whether it be, Christian, scoring a penalty against Mexico or Tyler, having a man of the match game against Liverpool. There's so many instances. Serginho, playing at Barcelona, AC Milan. There's so many, instances where guys have stepped up in really big moments. And I don't think anybody can know what kind of moment this will be like till they're in it. So again, I don't think anybody will know exactly how, players will react. But at the end of the day, these guys should be confident in knowing that they've been in huge moments before and they've stepped up to the plate in huge moments. So I think that, they'll be fine in doing it in this moment.
We'll go to Larry now, then Mauricio Venegas.
DeAndre, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Wow, thank you.
Just wanted to ask about, obviously, you being a veteran of the bunch, you've worked with a lot of these other fullbacks in these camps. What has impressed you about this these other guys, Anthony Robinson, Joe Scally, younger guys that are playing big roles for their clubs in big leagues. And then
Mhm.
Shaq Moore, who is obviously, come to MLS and fit right into the Nashville team. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, like all the fullbacks that we have are just machines, and like to play in this system that Greg wants, you have to be a machine. So, that's credit to everybody that's here. We got guys that are obviously very athletic, technically good on the ball, can get up and down, good 1v1 defenders. And I think the fullback pool is very strong. There's obviously guys that missed out that are also incredibly good players, and it easily could have gone to one of those guys making the group. So it's a good sign for the future of US soccer, because bar myself, a lot of these guys are still pretty young. So they have a huge future down the line of US soccer.
We'll go to Mauricio Venegas, then Mike.
Hi, DeAndre. Apologies for the background noise, but congratulations on your call up and being the first club player in Inter Miami history to be called up for the World Cup while Silver comes in the club. So I wanted to ask you, what's your message for the fans, and how has your year playing for the club helped you to be ready for this challenge at the World Cup?
Yeah, I'll say my message to the fans is obviously I appreciate the support always. Hopefully, they're supporting us in the World Cup, but I obviously realize that some people have other teams that they support. So I just hope they have a great experience watching the World Cup, and that I'll see them soon. And with playing this year for Inter Miami, I've really had to grow into that leadership role, and that's helped me with the national team. Having to be a leader. There's correlations between the two. So, this year has been huge for me. Obviously, I've gotten consistent playing time, which has really helped my fitness levels, confidence, everything like that. It's been great. And obviously, it's a great group to be around. So my spirit's been high. I've been very positive. And hopefully that leads me in well to the World Cup.
And we'll do the last two questions, Mike, and then Andrea.
DeAndre, just a question about something Berhalter mentioned on the broadcast. He said that, with the issues in Qatar, obviously you guys are there to, play in a World Cup, but he and you and the rest of the player pool are not, ignoring some of the issues that are going on there. Have you guys had discussions or made plans about anything in particular you're going to do in that regard with that part of the tournament?
We've been educated on the issues going on over the last year and a half, per se. So we're definitely aware of the issues. Obviously, we're taking on the approach of be the change, and that basically entails that we all can be the change that we want to see. I know the federation has for all the fan events, they've set up safe spaces for everybody, no matter what. So that's a step that they're taking. I know there's other things going on that the federation's planned, and I'm sure we'll be made aware of those when we get there. So yeah.
And last question, Andrea.
Hi, DeAndre. Congrats. I have two quick questions for you. The first one is, are you excited for that England matchup? You spend a lot of years over there.
Yeah.
I guess you have received a lot of messages from your friends over there.
Yeah.
And the second one is, what does it mean for you as a girl dad to be playing your first World Cup as a girl dad and in your fatherhood?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to play England. I got a lot of friends on that team, guys that I played against, guys that I played with. So it'd be great to see them again. It's always a good competition, and they're obviously a great team. So you always want to play some of the best, and they're definitely one of the best in this tournament. And being a girl dad is incredible. First of all, forget the soccer part of it. Just being a girl dad is incredible. It's hard, before being a dad, realize how much you can love something, and now it's unfathomable. So that's great. And then obviously playing in my first World Cup as a girl dad is great. It's an honor. Hopefully she's not going to Qatar, but I'm sure she'll be watching at home with her grandmother. So if I get time on the field, I'll definitely be playing for her.
Thank you, DeAndre. Congratulations.
Thank you.
See ya.